What's up, everybody? How are you this evening? It is Wednesday night, and if you don't know by now, we are coming to you on Power 1017. I am Doc Val, your resident sexologist, and we are Brown Sugar Confessions. So we hope everybody had a great day off. So they had that MLK on Monday, so you got an extra holiday. So we hope that you guys had a really good holiday and got to just chill and vibe out a little bit. And we are back tonight picking up where we left off with Marisa is back with us. Marisa, honey, yay, you're back. How are you, sweetheart? Welcome back.
I'm great. How are you?
Oh, we are great. We are so happy that you came back. Miss Treese, what's up with you?
I am enjoying actually reading for pleasure.
Congratulations. I know you're carrying that. Masters, right? You're going for, right?
Yeah, I'm sick of it. I'm sick of it.
That paycheck will make it out when it comes in, girlfriend.
Actually, no. No, I have to get my paycheck in another field because getting a master's in the field that I'm in doesn't actually pay anymore. It actually locks me into a certain job, and promotions are so hard to get. So getting my master's in something completely different, because getting your master's isn't a real thing, apparently, for my career.
Wow. Well, you know what? I don't know what you do, but you.
To the T, to the fullest.
Always.
Yes.
You always got something good going on. Miss KD, what's up with you, beautiful?
Hey, same thing, same back channel. You know, nothing new. Just getting ready for the Valentine's Day season. Every time you walk into the store now, all you see is red hearts and stuff all over the place. I'm just prepared to try to block all that out because I can't stand none of that mess. I don't like candy. I'm not into flowers and bears. Well, no. So just dealing with the next season and waiting for my favorite one to pop back up. As you all know, the spring.
The spring, right? We got, I'm not looking at it. We're going to talk about that a little later on. Miss T, how's Georgia?
I mean, it's Georgia. It's Georgia.
Georgia.
Georgia. Atlanta's being Atlanta, and Atlanta's always being the absolute most. I love it. I am actually rooting for all my friends that are still making it through cuffing season. I got a couple that might make it to the championship, and I'm actually excited. I'm like, all right, let's see where this goes.
All right.
So if you out there, Radio Land, and you are in cuffing season and y'all are still together, hey, Miss T is rooting for you. Let us know how it works.
Absolutely. Yes, we want to know how this cuffing season's worked out. We did a couple of shows on that one. So make sure that you guys go and check out all of our previous shows that are on YouTube. And if you haven't done so, make sure that you subscribe to the Daggone channel, people, and like and share it. In addition to catch us on Spotify if you miss us on Power. All the shows are on Spotify as well. So there is absolutely no reason why you should not be following and enjoying Brown Sugar Confessions any and everywhere where you get your audio and visual pleasure. Ooh, that sounded kind of kinky, like I talked about.
That sounded dirty.
That did, right? Like I was talking about personal...
It's like slid in some honey dirty. Ugh.
It did. Like I got a PED device, Marisa, that's personal enjoyment device, aka sex toy. But that's what we call it.
Oh, I have those too.
Yay! Well, we like white sugar, we like brown sugar, we like yellow. Girl, we like all kind of sugar. We're going to talk about
I just put my hands in the cookie jar. Yeah, whatever I get.
Girl, talk about it. Talk about it. So, speaking of talking about, did you guys, what in that daggone carnation did Katie just put up in this window? Go to YouTube right now, y'all.
I thought that was an acorn.
That is
no.
Not an acorn?
It's an eggplant.
It's an eggplant pillow?
It's a baby eggplant?
Oh no, don't say
That just
that.
sounded all kinds of wrong. I just thought about that. Wow, that sounded all kinds of wrong.
Why is Katie
don't-
holding a eggplant pillow? Did you get that for Christmas?
It's got a face.
It has eyes.
This is one of my gifts to myself. This was my
Of
little
course it is.
eggplant.
And it, okay, I'm going down a rabbit hole, but there is a white string hanging out of its tip. That's all I'm going to say. It really is a white, yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't even really take note of that. Yes. It's called a PP pillow.
It's a PP pillow.
It's a PP
Because
pillow.
there's PP
This
hanging
is a
out
mini
of it.
one.
They have a bigger one? It's pretty thick.
They do have a bigger one, and it comes with a special set of what's to go with it too. So they have them in all sizes. You can lay on it and everything.
Entertainment device. It has a PED. It has a sex.
No,
I don't think you're supposed to use it for that kind of entertainment.
Oh.
Not that kind of entertainment. No, but they have a larger one, so I decided to just go for the little guy. But they have a larger one that actually comes with a set of guys to go with it. If you get what I'm saying.
So your eggplant has nuts?
Like, we can say nuts because nuts is you eat nuts. We're not talking
nuts is nuts.
I don't know. That word can get really nasty very quick depending on how you use it. Is it a verb? Is it an action? Is it a noun? I don't know.
Down a rabbit hole of destruction already on this show. It's kind
well, since we're already ready for destruction, you guys want to hear this question I got?
We got, yes, Miss T, take us down a rabbit hole.
All right, because I'm back on the 6 Brown Chicks account, and I got another question for y'all. You ready? Here we go. My wife caught me at a motel. I'm depressed. I warned my wife that if she left me, she better plan my funeral because I can't live without her. The wife said, "What kind of funeral you want? Open casket? Cremation? Half and half?" She used to forgive me for cheating. What to do?
Can I go first?
You can go first.
Please.
Go,
I got nothing.
Go,
I got
Trees.
nothing.
Okay, so 1, emotional manipulation. What kind of funeral you want? Pick it, homeboy, because you're getting it. You're not manipulating people anymore with that fake mess. 2, the reason why she's not forgiving you is because she obviously knows she deserves more than what you could ever offer her, and there is no forgiveness. So get to stepping, go plan it, make sure she gets your life insurance policy and all the cars and the houses and the bank accounts, and move on.
I like that.
I am not a person for emotional manipulation. I am a Virgo. And once I sense you emotionally manipulating me, I tend to call your bluff.
Exactly what you did.
You're going to unalive yourself because you cheated on me? Well, pick your way, homie.
Oh, Lord. Okay.
I'm just saying.
I like it. I like where you went with it. Katie, what you got for it? I ain't got nothing on this one. I was like, this totally went over my head. I was a little lost.
All I have for him is a whole lot of laughter. He got what's coming. He should just go ahead, pack his things, or don't. Pack his things or let her throw them in the trash, whichever his preference is, and get on out where he needs to go, to the trash. Take his trash bags or anything else he got and get on out of there. Listen, this is what happens when you keep trying people and you think you could get away with the same things over and over again. First off, you shouldn't have done it in the first place the first time.
Yep.
You should have been kissing the ground she walked on if she still stayed with you after that. The fact that you thought you could have all these trials and tries and do it over and over again, and she was just supposed to forgive you, and you were going to manipulate her. I have no compassion. I don't even want to give you advice. You're not deserving of advice. Just go.
Ooh, you're not getting any love from this sugar on this show, honey. Miss T, what you got for him? It's your
Same
topic.
thing I had for the guy last week. Run.
Run.
Because let's be real. She already caught you at the motel. So clearly you can't go back to that motel. And do you want the woman that you have scorned planning your funeral? Think about it. Do you really want the woman who is, and I'm assuming that she caught him multiple times since he said she used to forgive me for cheating.
Yes.
Clearly, this is not a one-time thing.
Clearly.
She got chips on her shoulder.
Mm-hmm.
You really want her planning your funeral? I guarantee you, if you thought she was going to do you dirty by saying she wasn't, that she's going to plan the funeral, she going to do something worse once you go. Don't do it, my guy. Run.
I would.
Hope you got your passport. Get out of there. Get out of there, my guy.
Mm-hmm. Marissa, what you got for him? You got anything for
Are
this
you guys
fool?
sure how much funerals cost? Because I wouldn't be planning anything, straight to the dumpster. Like,
Exactly. Which is why I said, do not let the woman you scorn plan your funeral.
right.
Exactly. I agree with you 100%, Marissa. Like, I wouldn't even waste $1. Like, trash bag, dumpster, he's dead. Take him. I ain't kill him. He's gone.
Donate him to science.
Donate. You can get money for donating him to science, can't you?
Mm-hmm.
That's the plan. Go to university, tell me you got a cadaver, and you're going to donate his body. Just sign some papers.
He was for the streets anyway.
He was for the streets.
Hey.
Let him be in the streets. That's a good way. He can be with some college kids. Let him
About to be all over them streets the way them students be handling them bodies.
We are lost tonight. Okay, so here we are again on Brown Sugar. Did you guys, you know what? Last week's show with Marissa was so good. However, I felt like we did not close it completely. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, go back and look at last week's episode on Brown Sugar Confessions, where we had introduced Marissa, and we talked about domestic violence. So, Marissa, welcome back again. Thank you for coming back another night to hang out with us. How are you, sweetie?
I'm great. I'm just happy to be here.
We are happy to have you. Now, the first time you were really nervous. How's your nerves now?
I'm feeling a little more comfortable.
There you go. There you go. So, tonight, as I said, I felt like we just needed to close this so that people can really hear how you survived and how you're doing now. Because there were so many questions about this that came in for us. So I want to bring you on and give you a chance to tell your complete story. So, Marissa, for those that didn't listen last week, give them a really quick recap of what you shared with us last week, if you would.
Yeah, of course. So I had this relationship when I was a child. I was 17, and it went really fast and quickly turned into DV, and it also turned into sexual abuse. And as I got older, I realized he was a pedophile and a predator, and he was grooming me and another girl who was younger than me. And I finally got out of that situation, and I'm in a much better place now.
That is great. It is so good to hear. And for those of you that don't know, the perpetrator was 28 years old, right?
Right, and I was 17.
17. Mm-hmm. And he also was dating or having, I guess dating, I can't even use the word dating.
Sexual relations.
He was in full relations with a 14-year-old girl when he was dating you,
Right.
Right.
Yes.
So that's why she uses the word pedophile. And you also had mentioned that you did call the cops on him, but you chose not to press charges. And we talked about that during the show as to why you chose not to press charges. Wow. So, and from what I recall in your story was I felt that, when we had you on last week, that the story there was more to talk about. It didn't feel complete. And that's why we wanted to come back on tonight, because I wanted the listeners to hear from survivors, because we're all of us, if you're on Brown Sugar right now and looking at us, we all raised our hands that we have been in domestic violence situations, and we have all survived it, and now are living testimony that you too can survive and move on. And so tonight we're going to focus on some of the cycles around DV. We're going to talk about when Marissa says enough is enough and she chose to move free and move on with her life, and steps on how to actually make that transition from being in that horrible situation to living your best life, because you deserve it. If you're listening, you deserve it. So, Marisa, go back for a second and just tell the audience that's listening, when you decided, I am sick of you and your family, enough is enough. What was it a day and time of your life? Was it an event? What was it when you said enough?
I just realized that I deserved more. I'm not very religious. I'm more of a spiritual person. So I kind of I sat back and I was crying in my car, and he had this friend who died in Afghanistan, and I kind of spoke to him. I was like, give me a sign. Tell me, is this meaning for me to leave right now after everything he's done? And my sign was basically finding the bra under the bed and knowing that him and the younger woman were trying to get pregnant. I was like, I can't do this anymore. I've got to leave. So that had happened several times. Yeah, sorry.
It had happened several times?
Yeah, so it wasn't just a one and done, clean cut kind of thing. I definitely had reminders constantly that he was still seeing her, even though he would tell me he wasn't. So I kept leaving and coming back, and then my final straw was when he basically told me he would kill me and my family, and I finally told my parents, I need help. Can you please help me? Because before that, I isolated myself, and I was trying to handle it on my own. I didn't want anybody to know what I was going through.
So when you made the call to your parents and they gave you the help that you need to start the process, talk about that help that you received.
So what they did was they just wouldn't let me interact with him. They took my phone, and it's kind of like a drug addiction. I don't like to compare it to that, but you're trying to rewire your brain. They would not allow me to basically go anywhere without telling them where I was, because they didn't want me to do something that would be harmful to myself. So it was a lot of steps in trying to figure out where I needed to go from there. There's a lot of self-sabotage and self-harm after that as well.
Were you self-harming?
I was, but normally after sexual abuse, the self-harm is a little different. I would use sex as a form of self-harm. So if I felt somebody was angry at me, or I felt like I was in trouble, I would look to sex as my coping mechanism.
Okay. And I heard you in the last show mention that when you left him, you went to therapy. Did you go to therapy during the transition when you first left him, or was that later on? Talk to us about that.
I didn't start therapy until 3 years ago. It was very difficult for me to get into therapy. I was doing everything except going to therapy, because I kept trying to tell myself. I was trying to tell myself that I was the problem, that nothing was wrong, nothing was crazy about what happened to me. One of the things that I did to cope was I joined the military, because I thought, oh, this will help me get my life back together. No.
It didn't. Not at all, did it?
Not at all.
So you did. You joined the military as a coping mechanism.
I did. I was like, well, this will make me a strong person. No, I feel like it kind of induced the fact that I was traumatized more.
How so?
Just the fact that they pushed me to limits, and I exceeded those limits, but then I would realize, oh, this is a trauma response. I'm not doing this because I want to. I'm doing this because I'm trying to seek validation and to show them that I can stick through no matter how hard they push me down.
Treese has got her finger pointing. What do you want to say, Treese?
I just want to, as a former military member, how many people go into the military that have come out of abused homes?
A lot.
And when they go into the military and you get that atta-girl or atta-boy or way to go champ, it is a natural trauma response to when you get that kind of encouragement to push your body, to push your brain, to push you to do things that you would possibly never do just for outside validation because you never received it in one point. The military is very good at that. They are very good at brainwashing. And I also want to say that having been in a relationship where I was in the military and I was being abused, the military did nothing.
Right. That's a common
Nothing.
occurrence.
Is it really quite common for the military
Absolutely.
does not
Overly.
intervene?
Very,
Very.
very common.
Sexual abuse, domestic
DV,
abuse. If
child
you are
abuse.
child abuse. If you are a dependent and these things happen to you, they push it under the rug and say you won't get those benefits if he goes to jail. Two, if you are a military member and this happens to you, what they will do, in my case, is move you to another base, move you to another section. But don't forget that record goes with you. So when you show up at the new place, you're the problem.
You're the problem.
Exactly.
You had that same experience, Marissa?
I did, but I didn't leave my unit. I got moved around to several detachments in my unit. And the fact that he was also, at the time when we were together, he was in the military. He was a Cav Scout in the Army.
Wow.
Yeah, they
And
don't
didn't do
care.
a thing.
Yeah, they do not care. When we send military members to other countries that have even lower ages of consent, they don't care.
That's when it gets real sticky.
They don't care. So don't sit here and pretend like you're a military member and you're upstanding. Cut it. Cut it. Cut it. It's a lie. And I hate that for you. And when I say I hate that for you, it only says to me that your story is important and that more people need to know that society has still normalized this behavior. As much as we say we're advanced, we are not. We are not.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Exactly.
Exactly. Wow. And even today, the military does not intervene and help families and women that are going through domestic violence. Well, there's a whole lot I could say on this one, but I'm not gonna say it on this show. We're gonna keep it going.
Yeah, there's one thing I will say though. I mean, maybe I don't know if I'm assuming you've had a little bit of luck in the military, but unfortunately, I know a lot of women run to the military and then they end up finding more abuse there. So it's definitely interesting how that dynamic can add and pile on to all of that trauma.
Yeah. One day I'll tell my story. One day.
Yeah.
One day. We want to hear that story, Treese. You know, I know we're normally upbeat and fun, but you know, one thing about Brown Sugar, we talk about subjects that don't normally get talked about. You know, and being in, you know, Kent County and lower Delaware, where I reside, you know, these subjects don't get talked about on the radio, and that's why we're doing this, for awareness that you can get help. And we're going to put up a number up here for you guys. It's 1-800-799-7233. That is 1-800-799-7233. If you can't remember 7233, it spells out SAFE. That is domestic violence hotline. Reach out to someone. Don't suffer. You deserve to be loved. You deserve to be treasured. You deserve to be respected. It is your right to be loved and treasured and respected. So, Marissa, now here you are. How many years ago was this?
This was about 8 years ago.
About 8 years, okay. And the process for healing, was it a long process for you? Are you still moving forward? Talk to us about
Yeah, I'm still moving forward. Up until very recently, I was struggling very much, like, in the victim mentality. Like, why did this happen to me? I didn't understand it. And I was like, maybe it's me. Maybe I just make men and people angry with me. And I just couldn't wrap my head around it. I was in therapy 3 years ago this month. I started therapy, and it wasn't really helping because I tried convincing my therapist that I had the issues. But like about a month ago, I believe that's when I started actually feeling at peace with myself, and I don't feel this dark cloud over me anymore that I've felt for so many years. I don't feel like I'm spiraling anymore, having panic attacks. I feel like I can just be alive and be happy, and I've never felt that before.
Oh, that is beautiful. That is beautiful. And you deserve it.
Thank
You
you.
absolutely
Everyone
deserve it.
deserves it.
You're right. Everyone does. And to hear that you feel alive right now, you're not spiraling is wonderful. What do you do to ground yourself? I know you just said you're in and out of, you're not always in therapy, right? So
Yeah,
what
I'm
do you
not
do?
always in. So
Okay.
what I do is I try and reassure myself. I used to seek other people for that reassurance, but what I
Hmm.
do now is just remember it's not my fault. It doesn't reflect who I am, it reflects who they are. And that the love that I kept desiring from them is the love that I need to give myself, and that's how I ground myself, is that it's not my fault. I just keep reminding myself that and give myself constant reassurance.
That's good. So a lot of self-talk, huh?
Yeah, a lot of self-talk.
That is good. That is
And
good.
one thing is like when I get negative thoughts in my head, I like talk myself out of it. I'm like, no, those are, I like to say they're friends. Emotions are friends, and they're just saying
Hmm.
hi. Let me say hi, feel it, and then say bye. I'm done with you right now.
Hmm. Hmm. I know the one thing that I hear, even in my practice and even when I was going through my own DB experience, was the fear of being alone, the fear of not having monies to take care of, if you have children, how's my family going to be taken care of? And a lot of women stay in this cycle because they don't have resources to go to. Can you guys speak to that for a second? I'm going to share my
Hey,
personal story, but
Dr. Val, I
mhm.
think we should take a note of that question and we should go ahead to break. And we can all take some time, sit with that question, and answer that when we return back here in a few minutes. Make sure you guys take a few breaths because, again, this is very deep, very traumatizing for some people. So get yourself some water. Keep your radio station on Power 1017, and Brown Sugar Confessions will be here in a few moments.
Welcome back to Brown Sugar Confessions. Before we get started on our very sensitive topic, we would like to give you some information on resources for you to reach out to following this service announcement. Are you looking at us? No? Get to YouTube. We're adorable. We're all wearing purple. Do you even know that? No, you don't. We're wearing purple and we're killing it. It's Katie's favorite color. We love her. But we're wearing purple for domestic violence awareness. We want to support any person that has been through domestic violence. Please know that we are here for you. If you'd like to talk to our resident doctor, who is Dr. Val, you can reach out to her at Valerie@swancenter.com. That is VALERIESWANNCENTER.com. I'm sorry, my Texas accent always messes up that L in that second. It's forever now. If you want to listen to us, you can now listen to us not only on Power 1017, you can reach us, you can listen to us at Spotify. And if you want to see our lovely faces, you can watch us on YouTube. And if you'd like to write us to maybe get some information privately from a safe, confidential, supportive place, please reach out to brownsugarconfessions@gmail.com. Now, if you'd like to reach out to the domestic violence hotline, please call 1-800-799-7233, or you can text 8224. If you don't want to text and you want to go online, please go to I'm sorry, I messed that up. So if you want to text, you can text 88788. If you are hearing impaired, you can call 1-877-787-3224. And for the website, you can go to thehotline.org. And in the top right-hand corner, if somebody walks into the room and you need to get out of there, press that exit button and it will take you back to your original home screen without being searched.
Nice.
We hope you all are safe. Please remember to take a couple of deep breaths, get some water in you, pet your kitty or puppy, and let's get back to it. Doc Val, you had the question of how do we leave the situation if we have no money and kids and we don't have family or support system around us?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that was the question I wanted to pose, because that question comes up quite a bit. Like, how do I leave this? You know, I've been beaten for so long. I don't have the resources. They don't have the emotional, mental strength to leave, but they know they need to leave. How do they decide to take that first physical step to leave? And Marisa, you did not have children with you at the time, right?
No, not at the time.
I know for my own self, you know, the decision to leave didn't become paramount until my child was being hurt. And when the child was being hurt, I didn't care if I was sleeping in my car. I had contacted my mom and said, Mom, you know, if I need you to take care of my daughter, would you? And she's like, absolutely, I'll bring her over. So I had that resource where I knew that regardless of what was going on with me, that she would be okay, and she would be safe, and she would be warm, and she would be taken care of, because I was just not in a good place. What about you ladies? Anything that you guys want to talk about and share on that?
I woke up one day from a horrific dream, and it was my kids watching me get hurt to being unalived. And I went immediately to his shirt. I told him, this is what's happening and I need to leave. And the shirt, luckily I had called a friend, and a friend told me, this is exactly what you say. And if they give you any pushback, this is who you say you're going to call. I went to his shirt. I told him what happened. Shirt pushed back. And I said, okay, fine. I'm going to the JAG. And I immediately went to the JAG. And 3 days later, I had a ticket home.
That's good. That's powerful. Marisa, when you left, you mentioned something about a couple of shelters. Aren't there some shelters in Dover that someone can go to?
Yes, there's a Shepherd's Place. That's the one I'm familiar with.
What now? Where's that one at?
That's in Dover, I believe, on Governor's Avenue.
Okay. All right. So we'll put the link up to Shepherd's Place. I'll also find the links for you in Sussex County, and Katie will find a link for you up in Wilmington, and we'll have them in each state that you guys can take a look at. Because there is no greater joy than getting out of an abusive situation and finding love and peace. And it's the peace for me that I fell in love with. Not having to walk on eggshells. You know, you're constantly, when you're in a DV situation, you are ever conscious about, oh my God, what is going to set them off? You're worried about how you present yourself, what you say, what you do, how you cook, how fast you cook, the kids being too loud, you're just constantly on edge. And that tension that you are constantly in, that fight and flight syndrome, is not healthy for your body. And the one thing that I found that I have now that I will not relinquish to anybody is my peace, and the peace for myself and my home. And once I found that, I was like, my whole world changed. I was like, this is what I was missing. I could be a better mother. I could be a better business person. I could just be better Val, because I had peace to think and rationalize and realize what to do next to take care of me, because I was always worried about taking care of them, him. I was always worried. I don't want to get him upset. Oh my God, don't cut him off on traffic. I'll pay for it if it happens. God, I was constantly worried how to protect him. Even so much so, I even convinced myself to forego my own education and had him go for his master's, because I'm like, if he gets help to see that he needs help, like a degree will make him stop. I was sure education would change him. I was sure. Oh, what an idiot I was to believe that. No, it does not. So yes, Therese.
Marisa, may I ask you a question? This is probably going to go very deep, but since you decided not to press charges against him, can I ask where he is now and what's going on in his life?
Yeah, of course. Well, I don't know where he is, but I know that he has 3 children with the underage girl that he was sleeping with. I'm not sure if I mentioned this before, but she disappeared for quite a while. I found that out through social media. I felt like it was my fault, and then later to find out they ran away together. But they're still in Delaware.
So he ran away with her, or she ran away with him.
Yes.
And she was a minor.
Yeah, and now they have 3 kids.
Now they have 3 kids.
Yeah.
For me, it goes back to like the parents, where the household, and you talked about your own, and I respect that so much that you were able just to give voice to that you were in a toxic family at the time, correct? With your parents?
Very, very unstable household. My parents would fight all the time. They were bringing me into the fights. I would get abused by my brother. There was sexual abuse, just so much.
And yet, who was there to protect the children? And then the cycle just continues. And now that you have a child, and our natural instinct is not to repeat the generational curse, right?
Right. Exactly.
So what steps are you doing now to protect your child when she grows up?
I'm very vigilant who's around my child. Her father and I aren't together, so it's a little more difficult for me to be aware of that, but I try and make sure I know who's in her life. I try and be cognizant of how I react to certain situations. I wouldn't exactly call it gentle parenting, but I make sure that when I'm talking to her, I talk her through her emotions, and I make sure she's aware of her emotions so that she doesn't get the curse of the anger and the lashing out.
That is good. That is good. And I'm going to give this 1-800 number out one more time. Therese, give that number out one more time, and especially the text number. I'm going to keep repeating that.
So the 1-800 number is 1-800-799-7233. The text number is 8878. And if you need help for being hearing impaired, the number is 1-877-787-3224. Thank you.
And we're going to have all these links up for you. Please utilize them. It's a new year. It's a new you. I know personally and we all do sitting here, it is scary to leave. You know what you know at home, but you don't know what's out there. That was one of my things I don't know I'm going to get into. And then I found myself falling into bad habits, repeating, has anyone else been in that? You kind of repeat the cycle. Yes. Until I learned that I was worthy, until I learned that I need to really sit down. I had to make a conscious list. I actually wrote a list out. Like, I want this quality of my husband. I want this. I mean, I really wrote it out. And I even asked my best friend who has a lovely marriage. I was like, I'm horrible in relationships. I'm horrible. Like, if you don't like them, I'm not going to marry him. I actually told her that about my husband. Like, if you check him out and you say no, I'm not marrying him. I don't care how much I love him. She's like, really? Yeah, because I didn't trust myself at all. That is the one thing that I will tell you that even now and then when I go back, trusting my own judgment, I didn't have, because I'm like, I make bad decisions. And I really had to retrain myself and really work on self to get better, to break these horrible cycles for my children. and to break our generational curse. So I out to all that's listening say there is hope, there is help, but the work must start with you. You have to take the chance to move forward. And Marisa, you spoke about when you're doing. I'm sorry. Go ahead, babe.
Before we move on, can we talk about the coping mechanisms? I think that's very
Absolutely.
important.
Yeah, let's talk about it.
I know that after I left, I used sex. But I was not one that repeated the mistake of getting back into another relationship. I became very closed and withdrawn after mine. And if it did not deal with a physical connection, I wasn't there in any capacity for emotional. And it was not until I absolutely met the nerdiest person possible that I realized, oh my gosh, you need help. You need to get through this trauma, because I am not going to get into this relationship and trauma dump on someone that absolutely does not deserve it. Even in my therapy, I realized, like, my therapist was like, do you think you are like slightly a nymphomaniac because you use sex as a device? And I was like, but I had
clutching pearls.
I had to clutch my pearls, but at the same time, I was like, yo, I did. That was the only power I had. And that's how I wielded it.
It's through sex.
Yeah.
Marisa, did you find yourself in that same kind of? I saw you shaking your head. Can you relate to some of that?
But then I would jump from relationship to relationship, and I would continue the cycle of abuse within those relationships. And then when we got out of the relationship, it's not healthy. It's self-harm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And now let's talk a little bit about going into healing, because we spoke about, going into trauma, now you're away from the abuser and you're going to start over again. And how do you begin self-love and self-respect after coming out of what could have been years of abuse? What coping mechanisms do you use that are healthy for you, right? Because you talked about the ones that weren't so healthy, using sex as a coping mechanism. But what are some healthy, coping mechanisms that you can use to help ground yourself and help you center yourself? For me, I will tell you, it was dancing. Dancing really allowed me to ground myself. I could forget my pain through moving my body. I used to dance sometimes. I remember one day I think I danced almost 4 or 5 hours straight. I was in a really bad place, and the sweat, I remember just dripping off of me, where I had just been dancing uncontrollably. I don't know what I was doing, but that was what I used to help me. And even today, when I feel really stressed out, I have to physically move my body. For me, it's some kind of movement, and it really ends up dancing. So what do you guys use to help you cope and to help you ground?
Stillness.
Stillness, what's that like?
It is sitting outside and allowing what thoughts come to me, and being present enough to know not to hide or run from them, and allowing the grief that I have from that. Be present, but cognizant enough. And this only comes with therapy. Do not think that this comes like automatically one day when you wake up. No, this comes from lots and lots and lots of therapy. Allowing the grief to come, allowing you to see like that you sat in that you allowed someone to do that to you, and that you didn't think you were worthy of anything more than that.
That is powerful, Therese. So sitting in silence.
Yeah.
Do you journal sometimes with it?
Journal
paper and pen.
all the time.
Do you really?
I do. I journal at least twice a day. When it's bad, I journal more, but it is a way for those feelings to no longer be inside of me, and they come out as real in real time. This is what it is, and I'm able to leave it there.
Wow, that's powerful. What about you, Miss T? Not even about abuse. What do you use to ground yourself? I know you're into yoga. That's a great grounding
yoga's
tool,
always a
right?
good deal. I am a low key active person. I work in a gym, so I just work out.
That's what you use to ground
Working out is
yourself.
usually what helps me.
Mm-hmm.
And then being in stillness and meditation, like Tracy said.
And that is something that I have not been able to master is meditation. I can only get 2 minutes, and then I start to get bored with myself. I'm like, I got no idea
I mean,
what
you
I
don't
should be doing.
Yeah, start at 2 minutes. Start at 30 seconds.
Really?
Yeah. That's where you start, is 30 seconds, 2 minutes. This whole start at 15 minutes. Are you crazy? I am a Virgo. You got 2 minutes with me. You better come on with this. I got things I have to do.
I got a whole
I
minute
to try it
meditation.
for a minute. Can you do that 1 minute? Was it 1 minute meditation?
And meditation is literally just being, it is not like everybody, oh, I want the sand. No, it is just letting your thoughts pop up in your head.
Yeah,
randomly.
you just gotta let your thoughts run, but you don't attach yourself to them.
Yeah.
And that's a lot thing too, is everybody thinks it's gonna be like, my mind is clear. No, you gotta build up to that. There's levels to it.
Yeah.
So you just gotta work your way up.
Okay. See, I want to go to the mastery level, but I want to, meditate for an hour. But I should give myself just a minute and work my way up.
No, ma'am, we start at 30 seconds and we build from
Yeah,
there.
Yeah, because your
30
body
seconds.
is going to tell it, like 2 minutes in, you're going to get an itch.
Ah,
Yeah.
okay.
The whole
I'm
purpose
gonna
of the
try.
physical practice of yoga is to prepare you for meditation.
Yeah.
Oh,
All the
really?
aches and pains and itching and yelling and stuff out of your system now, because once you sit down, this is it. Or
that's
once
why I
you
don't
lay
do-
down, this is it, depending on how you do your meditation.
I've only done yoga like 4 times. I've never been
Ma'am.
a yogi. That's it, Miss T. I
We're
need
doing it.
Some instruction.
We're doing
All right, we
it.
need to have a brown sugar confession yoga session or something. Do you yoga, Marissa?
I do, but I power lift more, weightlift.
Oh, see now,
See? Working out.
I work out. Yeah, it's about physical movement, right? Whatever it comes down to, it's about physically moving your body to help you ground. And some people like to draw, some people like to write. Journaling is great. Drawing, painting, just something that helps you feel better about yourself. That just makes you come into your own body and just helps you calm down. What about you, Katie? What kind of tools do you use for yourself?
Well, I definitely enjoy dancing to help relieve stress. I listen to a lot of music, so I have playlists just for moods. So if I have a need to try to lift my spirits, I have playlists for that. If I have a need to really just wallow in being upset, I have playlists for that. I have Tupac and Biggie for moments when I'm ready to like pop off, if you guys know what that means. But my favorite thing to do to really bring myself kind of down and to recenter is taking a nap.
Oh, taking a nap. I didn't think about that.
I dig those.
And for me, a nap is kind of like meditation because it's not like I could just go to sleep. Like usually just sitting down, closing my eyes for a minute and thinking about the 17 billion things that's going to cross just because I stopped giving myself stimulation is my form of meditation before I go into that nap.
Oh, okay. Napping works. So I guess the idea that we wanted people to take away from this show is, number one, you're not alone. Even on Brown Sugar, all of us have given voice that we've experienced DV. There is no shame in reaching out and getting help. The journey is long. It's not overnight. It's a long journey, but it's a journey that has to begin at some point. And once you decide to take care of you and your children, if you have children, the rewards of peace of mind is worth anything. And to know that in your own home, you don't have to fear. Your home should be a place, a sanctuary, where you take your shoes off, where you have love, laughter, and peace. Your home should not be your battlefield. You know what we say on Brown Sugar Confessions on every single show. We always tell you to stay safe and to play safe. Marisa, thank you for coming on, sweetheart. You were amazing. Thank you for sharing your story. This story is going to touch so many people. I know that. How can they reach you if anyone wants to reach out to you?
So they can reach me through Instagram. I'm also writing a book that hopefully will be published this summer on domestic violence and the sexual abuse I face. Facebook, Twitch. I stream on Twitch sometimes, so whenever I'm streaming once a week, they can hit me up. And my handle is vaulting_VICERE.
All right, vaulting_. All right, and VICERE. Okay. We're going to put all her handles up. Reach out to me, reach out to Marisa, who could put you in contact with people. I am not a DV counselor. I am not a DV coach, but we can refer you to people. And we're going to link all these resources up here for you so that you can get the help that you need for your mental and physical well-being. Because loves, it's time. It is time to love thyself. And, it's time. So on that note, I'm going to thank you guys for listening. Come back next week when we go into some funny, crazy stuff. And you know what we say, stay safe and play safe. And we are Brown Sugar. Bye-bye for now, guys. Thanks for listening to another episode of Brown Sugar Confessions on Power 1017. Go to our Facebook, YouTube, and Instagram page at Brown Sugar Confessions to like, share, and follow. Stay safe and play safe. We'll see you next week. Bye for now.